Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that's really all about cutting through the noise, getting straight to the insights you actually need. There's just so much talk around AI right now, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere.
It feels like if you're not constantly trying to keep up, you feel like you're already falling behind. Everyone's talking about it. Lots of people are experimenting with it. But the real question, the one that I think often gets lost in all the hype is, are they actually succeeding? Are businesses seeing real, tangible returns?
That's the million-dollar question, really.
So today, we're embarking on a deep dive into exactly that. Scaling AI responsibly, the enterprise ROI roadmap. And believe me, what we're about to uncover here, well, it gets incredibly interesting. We're going to unpack why so many AI projects fall short, sometimes spectacularly short, and maybe more importantly, what the leading companies, the ones really getting it right, are doing fundamentally differently. Not just experimenting, but achieving incredible, measurable returns. Our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, those surprising facts and actionable insights from a whole stack of sources, including a really comprehensive report on enterprise AI. We're exploring that critical balance, between moving fast with innovation and deploying responsibly. How organizations can truly transform with AI.
And what's truly fascinating here, and maybe a bit sobering actually, is that stark contrast you mentioned between the immense hype around AI and the current reality sort of on the ground. Our sources reveal that only a tiny fraction, like a mere 1% of enterprises, actually view their AI strategies as mature.
1%? That's tiny.
It really is. Think about that. Despite all the headlines, all the undeniable potential AI holds, the vast majority of organizations are still very much in the early stages. They're, experimenting, sure, but they haven't yet mastered the art, the science of scaling AI to deliver consistent, enterprise-wide value. So this deep dive, it's really going to illuminate the why behind this significant gap, why so many projects never make it out of the pilot phase, and, crucially, reveal the proven pathways to success that the pace setters are already taking. And this isn't just about adopting new tech, it's fundamentally about strategic business transformation. It demands, a holistic shift in how organizations operate, how they think, and how they integrate AI into their very DNA.
Okay, let's really dig into this then with some truly surprising statistics from the source material, because they paint a fascinating paradox. On one hand, you've got these leading organizations, the real pace setters, seeing extraordinary returns. We're talking about potentially up to 10 times productivity gains.
Incredible.
Imagine that. A task that took 10 hours now takes 1.
Yeah.
And beyond just productivity, they're seeing a staggering $10.30 return on investment for every single dollar invested in AI.
1030 ROI. It's huge.
It's almost 1,100% ROI. I mean, it paints this picture of just incredible potential. But here's the flip side, right? The hard truth that often gets maybe glossed over in the excitement. A massive 70 to 90% of AI pilots fail. They just don't reach production.
Yeah, that number is consistently high across different reports.
They get stuck in that experimentation phase, maybe generate some buzz in a small team, but they never deliver real, scalable business value across the whole organization. So if you're out there listening, maybe trying to leverage AI in your world, feeling that pressure to innovate, but also really wanting to avoid becoming another one of those statistics.
Yeah.
What does this all mean for you? How do you actually bridge that chasm?
Well, if you connect this to the bigger picture, the sources clearly state that this gap, this chasm between all that AI experimentation and genuine sustainable value, it stems from a critical yet really common misunderstanding, a misconception many organizations still seem to hold.
Okay, what's the misunderstanding?
The prevalent idea is that AI is purely a technology challenge. You buy the latest algorithms, maybe hire a few data scientists, sprinkle some AI dust, and poof, transformation happens.
Right, the magic wand approach.
Exactly. But our sources emphasize that successful AI scaling actually requires a fundamental and often quite counterintuitive shift in focus. They break it down with a really powerful rule of thumb. 70% of the effort needs to be dedicated to people and processes.
70, okay.
70%. Then 20% on the underlying technology infrastructure, the pipes, the platforms, and only 10% on the algorithms themselves.
Only 10% for the algorithms. That's the bit that gets all the attention.
Precisely. Think about that for a second. The algorithms, the flashy AI models grabbing the headlines, they're the smallest piece of the puzzle for successful scaling. So this means if you're treating AI adoption like just another tech project, maybe handing it off to IT or assuming some new software will solve everything, You're missing the profound organizational transformation that's absolutely required for sustainable success. This isn't just about tweaking existing operations. It's about fundamentally rethinking workflows, job roles, how decisions are made, the whole culture around data and automation.
It's much bigger than just a tech upgrade.
It really is. Maybe use a simpler analogy. Imagine you're building a truly smart home, right? One that's intuitive, efficient, makes your life easier. The algorithm, that's like the fancy smart home system, the voice commands for lights, climate control, maybe managing your groceries, that's your 10%.
Okay.
But without a solid electrical grid, robust internet, well-designed physical infrastructure, that's your 20% technology backbone, that smart system is just, well, a pretty piece of inert electronics.
That makes sense.
But even more importantly, without the skilled builders who know how to integrate these complex systems, without the architects planning the layout for optimal flow, and crucially, without the homeowners themselves adapting to new ways of interacting with their living space, that's your massive 70% people and processes that smart home, no matter how advanced the tech, simply won't stand, let alone function optimally or bring lasting comfort.
Right. It just won't work properly or feel right.
Exactly. It highlights that the human and operational aspects, they're the true bedrock of AI success. They dictate whether your AI initiatives thrive or just, collect dust in a corner somewhere.
That analogy really drives it home. How often we get fixated on the smart system, the algorithm, rather than the foundation and the people using it. So, okay, if most pilots are failing because of this imbalance, what exactly are the successful few doing differently? It's the question everyone's asking, right? Trying to navigate this.
Yeah.
Thankfully, our sources provide some incredibly clear answers. They point to proven frameworks driving measurable enterprise transformation.
Frameworks.
Yeah, this isn't guesswork or just throwing money at it. It's about following a deliberate blueprint. And the key finding here, which is really insightful, is that these frameworks prioritize systematic business alignment over just pure technological sophistication. It's not about having the flashiest new AI toy. It's about how strategically you're applying it and integrating it deep into your core business.
Indeed. And the sources offer specific, powerful examples of these frameworks in action, revealing what truly sets the leaders apart. Let's maybe look at BCG's strategic implementation approach. It reveals that these leading companies, they're not just dabbling in AI, they're making deeply strategic choices about where and how to invest. They're allocating a significant 80% of their AI investments towards reshaping key business functions.
80% on reshaping functions,
Yeah.
not just like automating small tasks.
Exactly. Truly transforming how core work gets done, rather than solely focusing on those maybe isolated productivity initiatives that might offer quick wins but lack that systemic long-term impact.
Okay.
And what's also striking is their focus. These leaders tackle an average of just 3.5 specific high-impact AI use cases.
3.5, that sounds really focused.
It is. Compare that to 6.1 for other companies who tend to spread their efforts much thinner across a wider range of projects, maybe trying to do a little bit everywhere.
Spreading themselves too thin.
Precisely. And this depth over breadth strategy isn't just a preference, it's directly linked to success. It generates 2.1 times greater ROI compared to their peers.
Wow. Double the ROI just by focusing.
It suggests that trying to be a jack of all AI trades often leads to being a master of none. So this raises an important question for you listening. Are you perhaps spreading your AI efforts too thin across too many, maybe superficial implementations? Or are you truly focusing on transformative depth in a few key areas that will really move the needle for your business?
That's a great question to reflect on.
Another valuable benchmark comes from the ServiceNow AI Maturity Index. It basically gives organizations a score on how mature their AI practices are. On average, organizations score around 44 out of 100.
44, so below average for most.
Yeah, suggesting a lot of room for growth for most businesses. But here's where the insights really start to crystallize. The pace setters, those achieving scores of 50 points or higher, they demonstrate a striking 74% positive ROI rate.
74%, that's a huge jump.
It is. And an impressive 33%, a third of those top performers are achieving returns of 15% or even higher. So it's clear higher maturity directly correlates with greater financial returns.
Okay, so what makes them mature? What are they doing?
Well, what's truly fascinating here is that these high achievers aren't just lucky, they share distinct characteristics. For instance, a significant 65% of them have a clear shared AI vision that permeates their entire organization. It guides every initiative. Compare that to only 35% of others.
So everyone's pulling in the same direction.
Exactly. It's not just a mission statement collecting dust. It's a living, breathing strategic imperative. Furthermore, 54% of these leaders achieve deep workflow integration. They embed AI directly into their core processes, making it almost invisible, just an indispensable part of daily operations. That compares to a mere 12% of the laggards.
Wow, huge difference in integration.
Massive. And crucially, 79% are actively pursuing aggressive hiring and reskilling initiatives. They're building robust internal AI capabilities, understanding that talent is just as critical as the technology itself. Compare that to only 53% of other organizations.
So they're investing heavily in their people.
Absolutely. This data clearly underscores that AI success is intrinsically tied to clear strategic intent, seamless operational integration, and building those strong internal capabilities. It's not just about buying external tech or running a few pilots.
Right.
Then we have Accenture's transformation framework. They identify different maturity levels, and at the very top, comprising just 4% of all companies, are what they call reinventors.
Reinventors sounds dramatic.
It is, because they're not just incrementally improving things, they're fundamentally transforming their business models using AI. And the results. These reinventors achieve 2.5 times higher revenue growth, 2.4 times greater productivity, and an astounding 3.3 times greater success in scaling generative AI use cases.
3 times more successful with Gen AI.
Yeah. The key takeaway here is that these organizations treat AI as a comprehensive strategic capability. It requires deep, comprehensive organizational change, much like completely overhauling a complex machine, rather than just deploying isolated tech. It's a complete mindset shift from the C-suite all the way down.
That reinventor statistic is incredibly compelling. 4% achieving that much more. It makes you wonder, if they're seeing such dramatic gains, what exactly are these high-impact use cases?
Whoa.
Where is AI delivering such tangible results right now? It's one thing to talk strategy, but where are we actually seeing this happen?
That's an excellent question. And our sources pinpoint specific areas where organizations are seeing measurable high success rates, moving beyond theory to, undeniable impact. For example, in customer service and experience, there's a remarkable 74% success rate for AI implementations.
74% in customer service, that's high.
It really is. And this isn't just about, say, basic chatbots answering simple FAQs. It translates into tangible metrics like improved call containment rates, meaning customers get issues resolved without needing a human agent. It means reduced average handle time for the agents who do take calls. And significant boosts in customer satisfaction scores because queries get resolved faster, more accurately. Think about how that directly impacts your bottom line and builds loyalty.
Yeah, huge impact there. What else?
Similarly, IT operations and infrastructure applications are seeing 69% success rates.
Okay, IT ops too.
Yeah. This is achieved through critical improvements, like using AI for predictive maintenance for IT systems, which drastically reduces system downtime. It accelerates incident resolution, with AI diagnosing complex issues far faster than human teams often can. And it leads to very real infrastructure cost savings by optimizing resource allocation and identifying inefficiencies. It's about moving from constantly fighting fires to proactive, predictive management.
Making IT run smoother and cheaper.
Exactly. And then in marketing and sales, organizations are reporting up to a 30% improvement in campaign effectiveness.
30% lift in marketing. How?
This is where AI-powered personalization truly shines. Imagine a marketing campaign so finely tuned to individual preferences based on past behavior, demographics, context, that it feels less like a generic ad and more like a personal recommendation.
Right, hyper-personalization.
Precisely. This level of personalization is driving expected Net Promoter Scores, NPS, a key loyalty metric to jump from 16% in 2024 to a projected 51% by 2026.
Wow, from 16 to 51% NPS. That's massive.
It's a huge leap. This isn't just a minor tweak to a marketing budget. It's transforming customer engagement and loyalty, directly impacting conversion rates and brand advocacy. These are not just theoretical gains. These are specific, measurable outcomes showing where AI is truly delivering profound value right now, hitting both the top and bottom lines.
Those examples make it crystal clear the impact is very real. But measuring success, especially with something as potentially pervasive as AI, must be more nuanced than just, say, tracking cost savings on one specific project. How are these leading organizations approaching ROI when AI touches so many different parts of the business? Is it just about the hard numbers?
You're absolutely right. It's definitely more nuanced. When it comes to measuring success beyond the obvious, the leaders don't just stop at the surface level. They adopt a deeply nuanced approach to ROI, recognizing that AI's value kind of ripples throughout the entire enterprise. Our sources indicate that successful organizations are really adept at balancing what we call hard ROI KPIs.
Okay, the tangible stuff.
Exactly. Things like tangible labor cost reductions, measurable operational efficiency gains, direct revenue generation from new AI-enabled products or services. But they balance that with equally crucial soft ROI indicators.
Soft ROI. Like what?
These might seem less direct, but they're vital for long-term health and growth. Think about factors like increased employee satisfaction because AI takes over tedious, repetitive tasks, freeing them up for more engaging work. Or improved decision-making quality across the organization because managers have better insights faster. Or even accelerated innovation capabilities because teams can prototype and test new ideas using AI much more quickly. It's a holistic view of value creation, not just dollars and cents today.
Right, looking at the broader impact.
Precisely. Furthermore, these leading companies aren't just tracking the performance of individual AI pilots in isolation, they're looking at the bigger picture. Specifically, they're tracking the enterprise-wide impact on their earnings before interest and taxes, or EBIT.
On company's overall profit.
Exactly. The sources highlight that leading companies are attributing more than 10% of their overall EBIT directly to generative AI deployments.
10% plus of EBIT from GenAI alone.
Yes. This demonstrates a clear understanding that AI's value isn't confined to small, isolated projects. It's about its ability to transform the entire business, create new revenue streams, or fundamentally change the cost structure at a systemic level.
That's a significant chunk.
It really is. And to manage this complex landscape of investments and ensure both immediate and long-term value, successful organizations employ sophisticated time horizon frameworks. They structure their AI investments strategically across different timelines. You have the quick wins.
Okay, the low-hanging fruit.
Sort of. Initiatives expected to deliver value in under 1 year, primarily focused on immediate productivity gains or maybe minor process improvements. Think of these as building momentum, getting runs on the board, demonstrating early value to stakeholders.
Makes sense. Keep people invested.
Then there are differentiating initiatives. These typically span 1 to 2 years and aim to provide a tangible competitive advantage. These might involve developing unique AI-powered features that set your product apart from competitors or optimizing supply chains in ways others can't easily replicate.
Building an edge.
Exactly. And finally, you have the transformative programs. These are the long-term plays, extending beyond 2 years, designed to fundamentally evolve or even disrupt their business models entirely. This might involve creating entirely new AI-centric services or using AI to enter completely new markets.
Big bets.
Right. And this portfolio approach is incredibly smart. It allows organizations to demonstrate immediate value, keep stakeholders happy, maintain momentum, while simultaneously laying the groundwork and building the foundations for that deep long-term transformation that will yield sustained benefits and really shape the company's future. It's a pragmatic way to manage both short-term expectations and long-term strategic goals, ensuring every AI dollar contributes to a larger, coherent vision.
That portfolio approach sounds like a really smart way to manage expectations and deliver value consistently across different timelines. But okay, as we push the boundaries of innovation and deploy these really powerful AI systems across an entire enterprise, there's another crucial element that comes roaring into play: responsibility. How do organizations innovate rapidly while also ensuring ethical, safe, and fair AI? The sources emphasize that speed isn't enough. Responsible deployment is absolutely key. It feels like a tightrope walk, doesn't it? Pushing boundaries versus building trust.
It absolutely is a tightrope walk.
So what are the guardrails? What are the frameworks that allow companies to embrace innovation without inviting unforeseen risks or, negative consequences down the line?
That's a critical point, and our sources provide very clear answers regarding the governance models and frameworks designed precisely for that, ensuring responsible AI. First, they highlight the importance of risk-based classification systems.
Risk-based. So not all AI is treated the same.
Exactly. It's a tiered approach. It allows organizations to differentiate AI applications based on their potential impact. For instance, you'd classify high-risk applications, those used in things like employment decisions, healthcare diagnostics, financial credit scoring, legal judgments, because a biased or erroneous outcome there could have severe direct consequences for individuals. These demand the most stringent controls, the most rigorous testing, the most human oversight.
Makes sense. High stakes require high care.
Precisely. Then you have limited risk systems. These might just require transparency disclosures, like a chatbot clearly identifying itself as AI so users aren't misled. And finally, minimal risk basic applications, maybe like spam filters or simple recommendation engines, which require lighter touch oversight. This tiered approach is crucial because it allows for appropriate, stringent controls where they are most needed without over-regulating and potentially stifling innovation across all AI initiatives, especially those that pose less potential harm. It's about smart regulation, targeted regulation, not just blanket rules.
Right, proportional controls.
Exactly. Beyond just internal classification, the NIST AI Risk Management Framework offers valuable voluntary guidance that many leading organizations are adopting globally. It's structured around 4 core functions: govern, map, measure, and manage.
Govern, map, measure, manage. Okay.
Think of govern as establishing the organizational policies, the roles, the responsibilities for AI governance. Map involves identifying and understanding the specific risks associated with your AI systems. Measure is about quantifying those risks, how likely, how impactful. And manage is, of course, about mitigating them through controls and processes. What's particularly relevant for today's landscape is that its 2024 updates specifically address the unique challenges and considerations of generative AI systems.
Ah, good. Because Gen AI has its own quirks.
It certainly does. Things like potential hallucinations, bias amplification, unexpected outputs. So organizations implementing this framework are establishing continuous monitoring throughout the entire AI lifecycle, from initial development through testing, deployment, and ongoing operation. And critically, they're aiming to do this while maintaining development velocity, often through automated governance processes. So responsibility is integrated into the AI development pipeline, not just a compliance checkbox at the end.
Building it in, not bolting it on.
Exactly. A powerful real-world example of this in action is IBM's Integrated Governance Program. IBM has implemented dedicated AI ethics boards. These boards have diverse stakeholder representation, legal, technical, business ethics, even external advisors, sometimes ensuring a wide range of perspectives are considered in their AI decisions.
So not just the tech folks deciding.
Definitely not. They combine organizational controls like clear policies and defined processes for AI development and review with robust technical controls. These include automated monitoring for things like bias detection or performance drift in models, and also red teaming.
Red teaming. Like ethical hacking for AI.
Sort of. It's where experts actively try to find vulnerabilities, problematic behaviors, or unintended consequences in the AI system before it goes live, trying to break it in controlled ways to make it stronger. IBM also operates under 5 crucial pillars of trust: explainability, fairness, robustness, transparency, and privacy. These aren't just words. They provide actionable frameworks, guiding principles, ensuring that every AI system they develop or deploy adheres to a high standard of responsible design and operation. They act as guideposts for their development teams.
Explainability, fairness, robustness, transparency, privacy. Got it.
Looking ahead now, the European Union AI Act is a really landmark piece of legislation. It's going to significantly impact organizations globally, especially those operating in or selling into Europe.
Yeah, that's been making waves. What's the core demand?
It demands strict conformity assessments, basically proving your AI system meets certain standards. Detailed technical documentation for all high-risk systems showing how it works, what data it uses, how it was tested, and clear requirements for human oversight, ensuring humans can intervene or override AI decisions when necessary, particularly in those high-risk scenarios.
So quite rigorous.
Very. And while the main compliance deadlines, like August 2026, for many parts might seem a bit distant, organizations that are already preparing for these mandates, proactively adopting these practices now, are actually building a significant competitive advantage.
How so?
By embedding these responsible AI practices early, integrating them into their development processes, they're positioning themselves not just for compliance down the road, but for market leadership. In a future where trust and ethical deployment are increasingly paramount, being demonstrably responsible with AI will differentiate the leaders from the laggards. It becomes a selling point, a trust signal.
Interesting. So compliance is a competitive edge.
Potentially, yes. Finally, the sources delve into human-AI collaboration models. This is about structuring how decision-making authority is shared between humans and AI systems. It's often not about fully replacing humans, but finding the optimal way for them to work together.
Okay, different ways they can interact.
Right. There are three main approaches outlined. Human in the loop means a human has the final authority. They must approve or make the final decision before it's executed. Think of an AI suggesting a medical diagnosis, but a doctor must confirm it before treatment begins.
Got it. Human has the last word.
Then there's human on the loop. Here, the AI operates mostly autonomously, but a human has the capability to monitor and intervene if necessary. Like a supervisor overseeing an automated process ready to step in if something looks off.
Okay, AI drives, human monitors.
And finally, human out of the loop. This refers to fully autonomous systems, though even these typically have safeguards, monitoring, and oversight mechanisms built in, especially in highly controlled environments or for lower-risk tasks. The crucial insight here, though, is that the most successful implementations don't just pick one approach and apply it everywhere.
It depends on the situation.
Exactly. They carefully match the appropriate collaboration model in, on, or out of the loop to the specific risk levels and the business requirements of each AI application. A high-risk financial decision system needs a different level of human involvement than, say, an AI optimizing warehouse logistics. This raises an important question for you listening. How are you designing your human-AI workflows? Are you ensuring the right balance of automation and oversight, optimizing for both efficiency and responsibility? It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's about thoughtful, risk-informed design that puts safety and trust first.
That last point about human-AI collaboration, it really brings us back to the heart of it all, doesn't it? We've talked frameworks, governance, tech requirements. But here's where it gets, I think, profoundly interesting. None of it truly matters if your people aren't on board, if they don't understand it, if they feel threatened by it, or if they actively resist it. The sources make it crystal clear. Enterprise AI adoption requires systematic change management. It has to address both the technical capabilities of the workforce and, perhaps even more importantly, the profound cultural transformation within the organization.
Absolutely fundamental.
It's not just about installing software. It's about changing mindsets, retooling skill sets, and fundamentally altering how people work and interact within the business. That sounds like the toughest part, maybe.
It often is. It's certainly the most complex, and the sources offer specific, actionable approaches to tackle this critical human element, ensuring adoption goes beyond just deployment. One of the most effective change management approaches highlighted is Prekshi's 80-core model.
80-CAR. Okay, what does that stand for?
It's an acronym. It provides a structured way to guide individuals through change, recognizing that personal adoption is the key to organizational success. It starts with building awareness of AI's strategic importance and why this specific change is happening. What problem is it solving? Why this solution?
Okay, the why.
Then fostering desire. This is about clearly demonstrating the benefits and answering that crucial question everyone asks, what's in it for me? For example, how will AI free up employees from tedious, repetitive tasks, allowing them to focus on more creative, strategic, fulfilling work? Making it appealing.
Right, making them want the change.
Exactly. Next comes providing the necessary knowledge through comprehensive skill development, training on new tools, understanding new workflows, maybe even developing new ways of thinking about problems. Fourth is enabling the ability to apply that knowledge. This means hands-on practice, coaching, real-world applications, ensuring people can actually do the new thing effectively and confidently.
Practice makes perfect.
And finally, ensuring reinforcement. This involves embedding the change into workflows, updating performance metrics to reward the new behaviors, providing ongoing support, celebrating successes, basically making sure the change sticks and doesn't just fade away. It's a holistic approach to getting people not just to accept AI, but to truly embrace it as part of their daily work.
Awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, reinforcement. 80KR. Makes sense.
Furthermore, McKinsey's research offers 4 critical strategies for change management, specifically in the context of AI, kind of building on this foundation. The first is absolutely fundamental. Reframing AI as a human enabler, not a human replacement.
That seems crucial for buy-in.
It's vital for overcoming resistance. Employees are far more likely to adopt tools that augment their capabilities, help them do their jobs better, faster, more creatively, than tools they perceive as existential threats to their jobs. And this messaging has to be consistent, authentic, and come from the top down.
Okay, AI as a partner, not a replacement. What else?
Yeah. Second, successful organizations gain insights from resistance. They don't just dismiss employee concerns or hesitations. They actively seek to understand the underlying issues, the perceived risks, the real limitations that people on the ground are identifying. This feedback can be absolutely invaluable for refining implementation strategies, addressing valid fears, and uncovering overlooked practical challenges you might not see from an ivory tower.
So listen to the skeptics.
In a constructive way, yes. Third, they prioritize human skills development in areas like adaptability, creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, collaboration skills that complement AI rather than compete with it. These are the uniquely human attributes that AI, for all its power, currently cannot replicate. Investing in these makes the workforce more resilient.
Building future-proof skills.
Exactly. And fourth, they measure what truly matters for adoption. Instead of focusing solely on technical metrics like model accuracy or processing speed, they track adoption-focused metrics. Things like usage rates of the new AI tools, employee retention related to AI initiatives, direct user feedback on their experience. Understanding that successful integration is ultimately about human adoption and satisfaction, not just clever algorithms.
Focusing on the human outcomes.
Precisely. The most successful AI implementations also tend to follow a distinct three-phase approach, recognizing that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. The first phase is prepare and assess, typically lasting 3 to 6 months.
Okay, phase 1, getting ready.
Right. Evaluating the organization's readiness data, tech, skills, identifying current gaps, and defining a clear, compelling vision for AI's role. It's about setting the strategic compass before you start sailing.
Makes sense.
The second phase is pilot and learn, spanning maybe 6 to 12 months. This is where initial capabilities are built, small, controlled pilot projects are launched in specific areas, and those governance structures we talked about are established and tested. It's a period of experimentation, rapid iteration, learning quickly, and refining the approach based on what works and what doesn't.
Testing the waters.
Exactly. Finally, the scale and integrate phase. This extends for 12 to 24 months, sometimes longer. It focuses on enterprise-wide deployment of the successful pilots, deep cultural embedding of AI into daily operations, continuous optimization, and realizing those broader benefits. This structured approach allows organizations to build momentum, learn iteratively, manage risk, and ensure that each step builds on solid foundations.
Prepare, pilot, scale. A logical progression.
And crucially, throughout all of this, leadership behaviors prove absolutely critical for success. Executives aren't just, giving mandates from on high. In successful transformations, they are visibly modeling AI tool usage themselves.
Leading by example.
Yes. Demonstrating its value in their own work, making it clear that AI isn't just for specific tech teams, but for everyone. They communicate a clear vision and expectations for AI's role, constantly articulating the why behind the change. They also show their commitment through significant resource allocation, investing properly in the tech, the training, the support needed. And they actively champion ethical practices, making it clear that responsible AI isn't just a buzzword, but a core organizational value.
Visible commitment is key.
Absolutely. And it's not just top leadership. Middle management serves as the crucial bridge between that strategic vision and the day-to-day operational execution. They play a vital role in supporting their teams through transitions, helping employees adapt to new workflows, translating strategic goals into actionable tasks for their teams, and facilitating knowledge sharing across the organization. They're the linchpins in many ways. So this raises another important question for you. Are your leaders at all levels truly embodying the AI transformation you envision for your organization? Their visible commitment and actions are incredibly influential in driving widespread adoption and belief.
That's such an important point. Leadership has to walk the talk, from the top floor to the shop floor. But, okay, all this talk of people, processes, ethics, while absolutely vital, also needs a really robust backbone, doesn't it? It's like building that skyscraper we talked about. You can have the most brilliant architectural design, the most skilled builders, but if the foundation isn't solid, the whole thing comes crashing down eventually. So what does this all mean for the tech side of things? Our sources provide clear insights into the technical infrastructure needed to support scalable, responsible AI. This is where the rubber meets the road, really, enabling all those human-centric strategies to actually function reliably.
You're absolutely right. The technical foundation is non-negotiable for scaling AI responsibly and effectively. Let's delve into some specifics mentioned in our sources. Firstly, compute resource management is paramount. Enterprise-scale AI, especially training large models, demands highly specialized, modern GPUs, graphics processing units. Think NVIDIA A100s, V100s, or the AMD MI250s.
The powerful chips.
Exactly. These aren't just any computer chips. They're specifically designed to handle the massive parallel computations required for AI model training and running them quickly, inference. And they need to feature a minimum, really a bare minimum for medium workloads, of 16 GB of VRAM video random access memory.
VRAM. Why is that important?
Think of VRAM as the short-term, super-fast memory right on the GPU card. The more you have, the larger and more complex the AI models you can load onto it and run efficiently. 16 GB is okay for medium stuff, but complex models need much more. And for truly high-performance systems, maybe training across many GPUs, you're looking at network requirements of at least 10 gigabits per second, GBPs, for communication between the machines, scaling up to 100 GBPs for those really intensive high-throughput applications.
So fast chips and fast connections between them.
Like a digital superhighway, ensuring data flows without bottlenecks, allowing these powerful AI brains to communicate seamlessly and rapidly during complex tasks like distributed training.
Okay, what about actually deploying these models?
For deployment, the sources consistently highlight Kubernetes-based deployment as a best practice. Kubernetes is essentially an open-source system for automating the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications.
Containers, like Docker.
Exactly. Kubernetes orchestrates those containers. Think of it as an orchestra conductor for all your different software services, ensuring they run smoothly, scale up or down as needed, and recover if something fails. This is often paired with things like the NVIDIA GPU operator, which enables sophisticated container orchestration specifically for GPU-accelerated workloads. This whole setup provides auto-scaling capabilities, infrastructure expanding or contracting based on demand alongside fault tolerance, ensuring your AI applications stay operational even if underlying hardware components fail. It also allows for resource-aware scheduling, optimizing where and how your compute power is utilized to get the most bang for your buck from expensive hardware.
Making it efficient and resilient.
Precisely. Furthermore, service mesh implementations like Istio are often critical. These provide secure, efficient service-to-service communication within your potentially complex AI microservices architecture. Imagine Istio as a highly intelligent traffic controller for your internal network, directing data between microservices, encrypting communications automatically, managing access policies, and ensuring every microservice can talk to another securely and reliably.
Managing the internal traffic.
Yes. And to ensure ultimate flexibility and resilience, the importance of hybrid and multi-cloud architectures is stressed. Designing your AI platform to be cloud agnostic, able to run across major platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, or even on-premises infrastructure. This prevents vendor lock-in, allows you to place workloads where they run best or meet specific regulatory needs, and provides robust disaster recovery options. It's about building a versatile, future-proof home for your AI.
Avoiding putting all your eggs in one cloud basket.
Exactly. Now, beyond the hardware and deployment orchestration, AI-enabled data governance frameworks are absolutely crucial for responsible scaling. This isn't just about managing data access. It's about smart, automated governance that can adapt to the dynamic nature of AI and massive data sets. The sources identify three core pillars here. First, automated policy enforcement with dynamic permission adjustment, meaning access controls can adapt in real time based on context, a user's role, the data sensitivity, the location they're accessing from.
Smart access control.
Second, automated data lineage and classification, using machine learning models within your governance tools to automatically detect personally identifiable information, PII, or other sensitive data types, and then tracking its origin, transformations, and movement across all your systems. This is absolutely vital for compliance with regulations like GDPR or CCPA, and for maintaining data privacy.
Using AI to govern AI data. Makes sense.
And third, AI-driven governance solutions integration. Having platforms that provide centralized visibility and control across all your data platforms, whether they're on-premises databases, data lakes in the cloud, or across multiple clouds, giving you that single pane of glass. Leading tools mentioned in this space include things like BigID, Reliance AI, OneTrust, and K2View, all designed for comprehensive governance automation at scale.
Okay, tools to help manage the governance.
Then, to manage the entire machine learning lifecycle itself, MLOps platforms are essential. Think of MLOps as DevOps, but specifically for machine learning.
Right, managing the model lifecycle.
Exactly, providing end-to-end capabilities from experimentation and model development through versioning, testing, secure deployment, and continuous monitoring in production, often with governance features built right in. Examples here include platforms like Databricks, Amazon SageMaker, Azure Machine Learning, and Google Vertex AI. These platforms streamline the whole process, ensuring models can be updated and deployed rapidly and reliably while maintaining quality and control.
Making it repeatable and manageable.
Yes. And complementing these are specialized AI governance platforms, tools like ModelUp, Datatron, Monitor, and Credo AI. These focus specifically on things like centralized AI model inventory and metadata management, policy intelligence, automated guardrails to enforce fairness or explainability standards, and ensuring responsible and compliant AI operations throughout a model's entire lifecycle, not just at the point of deployment. They add another layer of specific governance control.
More specialized governance tools.
Finally, the sources mention the Databricks AI governance framework as an example of a highly comprehensive approach. It details something like 43 key considerations across 5 foundational pillars.
43 considerations. Wow. What are the pillars?
They cover everything from embedding AI into your organization's strategy and aligning with legal and regulatory compliance, to implementing ethics and transparency, scaling the data operations and infrastructure reliably, and establishing comprehensive AI security frameworks throughout the entire lifecycle. What's fascinating here is just how detailed and holistic these requirements are becoming to truly scale AI responsibly. It's clearly not just about getting models into production anymore, it's about building an entire ecosystem of trust, security, operational excellence, and ethical oversight around them, recognizing that every single component plays a critical role in the overall integrity and ultimate success of your AI initiatives.
Okay, let's unpack this next crucial piece then. We've covered the robust tech backbone, the critical human element with change management, and the vital governance guardrails. Now, who are the people actually driving this transformation day to day, and how are their teams set up for success? The sources offer a pretty clear blueprint for the kind of organizational structures and the key roles needed to make this AI transformation a tangible reality, not just a concept on paper. It's about building the right teams and positioning them effectively for maximum impact and sustained innovation.
Indeed. And the sources consistently emphasize that AI centers of excellence, or COEs, often serve as the foundational organizational model for successful AI scaling. But they're not one size fits all. They come in different flavors, adaptable to different organizational contexts and needs.
Okay, there are different types of COEs.
Right. First, you have centralized hubs. These are typically best suited for large organizations, maybe in highly regulated industries like finance or healthcare, where consistency and control are paramount. These hubs serve all business units, acting as a central repository of AI expertise, defining best practices, providing shared resources like platforms or tools, and ensuring consistent governance and compliance across the board.
One central team for everyone.
Essentially, yes. Second, there's the opposite approach. Decentralized embedded specialists. This model is often optimal for smaller companies or perhaps very fast-paced environments where agility and deep domain knowledge are the top priority. Here, AI specialists, data scientists, ML engineers are integrated directly within individual business units or specific product teams. This fosters deep understanding of the business unit's needs and allows for quicker iterations, though maintaining consistency and sharing knowledge across the enterprise can become more challenging.
Specialists spread out in the business.
Exactly. And third, probably the most commonly adopted model, especially by mid to large organizations as they scale their AI capabilities, are hybrid models. These try to combine the best of both worlds. They typically have a central hub that provides strategic oversight, sets standards, manages core platforms, and ensures governance consistency. But they also have AI specialists embedded within business units to drive local implementation, tailor solutions, and maintain that crucial business proximity.
Central guidance, local execution.
That's a good way to put it. It allows for both strategic consistency and operational responsiveness. Now, within these AI centers of excellence, regardless of the model, certain roles are absolutely essential. They form a multidisciplinary team needed to cover all bases.
Okay, who do you need on the team?
Well, you obviously need an AI COE lead, someone responsible for the strategic direction, guiding the overall vision and roadmap for the COE itself. For that enterprise-wide vision and strategic influence, the role of a Chief AI Officer, CAO, is highlighted as increasingly critical. This is an executive-level role, often positioned right alongside the CIO or CTO, ensuring AI is deeply integrated into the core business strategy, not just treated as a technical function buried somewhere in IT.
So AI gets a seat at the top table.
That's the idea for maximum impact. Then you need an AI strategist, someone focused purely on business alignment, ensuring AI initiatives are tackling the right business problems and delivering measurable value back to the organization. You need your core technical team, data scientists for model development, research, experimentation, and ML engineers focused on taking those models, hardening them, and deploying them reliably and scalably into production environments. They bridge the gap between research and operations.
Scientists build, engineers deploy.
Roughly, yes. You also absolutely need data engineers. They manage the underlying data infrastructure, build the data pipelines, ensure data quality, accessibility, and security. They make sure the fuel for the AI engine is clean and available. Critically, especially now, you need AI ethics officers or similar roles focused on compliance oversight, ethical considerations, risk mitigation, ensuring responsible deployment practices are followed. And finally, don't forget the business analysts. They play a vital role in process integration, translating business needs into technical requirements that the data scientists and engineers can work with. And importantly, they are often key in ROI measurement, tracking the actual value delivered back to the business.
Wow, that's quite a diverse team needed.
It really is. It reflects that 7 to 2010 rule. Again, you need skills across process, tech infrastructure, and algorithms, plus strategy and ethics. Now, to support these structures and roles, workforce development frameworks are indispensable. You can't just hire everyone. You need to upskill your existing talent, too. The sources outline a common 5-step approach for this.
How do you develop the workforce for AI?
It typically begins with assessing the current state, doing a thorough skills gap analysis across the organization to understand what AI-related capabilities you already have and, more importantly, where the critical deficits lie.
Know where you stand.
Exactly. This then leads to defining the target state competency models. What specific skills and expertise levels do you need for future AI success across different roles, both technical skills and non-technical ones like critical thinking or collaboration? Third is designing role-specific learning pathways, creating tailored training programs and development plans for different employee groups. An executive needs different AI training than a data engineer or a marketing manager.
Personalized learning.
Fourth is implementing hands-on training with real-world applications, moving beyond theory to practical ability, building confidence in actually using AI tools and techniques in their daily work. And finally, measuring progress and ensuring continuous program iteration, tracking skill development, getting feedback, and refining the training programs over time to make them more effective.
Assess, define, design, implement, measure. Makes sense.
And the target skills here extend across the entire organization. It's not just for the specialists in the COE. This includes fostering AI literacy for all employees, ensuring everyone has a baseline understanding of what AI is, what it can realistically do and not do, and how it might impact their roles or create new opportunities. Then, of course, you need the deep technical skills for specialists like data scientists and engineers. And crucially, you need specific business skills for leaders and analyst skills in strategic thinking with AI, integrating AI insights into decision-making, managing AI projects, understanding the ethical implications, interpreting results. This raises one last important question for you. How are you empowering your entire workforce with the right AI skills, from the executive suite down to the front lines? Truly embedding AI across your organization requires this broad-based capability building to make it a sustainable competitive advantage.
That roadmap for workforce development and the whole organizational structure piece is incredibly clear and really highlights the scale of the transformation needed. But, it's one thing to talk about frameworks and roles in theory, and it's quite another to see them actually working in the real world. Here's where it gets really illuminating, I think. Our sources provide some incredible real-world case studies that demonstrate the measurable impact of doing this strategic scaling well. These aren't just hypothetical scenarios. They're tangible transformations that bring all these concepts, the strategy, the tech, the people, the governance, vividly to life, showing what's truly possible when you get it right.
Absolutely. And these real-world examples powerfully underscore that the principles we've been discussing really do translate into significant, measurable business value. Let's maybe start with JP Morgan's contract intelligence system, known as COIN. This is a fantastic example of AI-driven automation in a traditionally very human-intensive field, legal contract review.
Right, reviewing thousands of pages of legal documents.
Exactly. Their COIN system, which uses natural language processing and integrates with existing contract databases, literally eliminated 360,000 hours of annual legal work.
360,000 hours.
Yes. To put that in perspective, that's roughly equivalent to the work of 180 full-time lawyers or paralegals for a whole year. It reduced the time required to review complex commercial loan agreements, for example, from hours down to mere seconds.
Hours to seconds. Incredible. What made it work?
The success factors here were really clear, aligning with what we've discussed. Strong business alignment. They had a clear goal of reducing manual effort and cost. Integration of state-of-the-art NLP technology, yes, but also significant investment in a secure cloud infrastructure to handle sensitive legal data. And crucially, it was a true marriage of deep technical expertise with profound process knowledge. They really understood the legal workflow inside and out to automate it effectively and safely.
Tech plus process knowledge. Got it. It's another one.
Okay, let's switch to healthcare. Consider HCA Healthcare's sepsis detection system, called SPOT, Sepsis Prediction and Optimization of Therapy. Sepsis is a life-threatening reaction to infection, and early detection is absolutely critical for patient survival.
Hugely important in hospitals.
Hugely. HCA, which is a major hospital network, used AI analyzing real-time patient data streams, vital signs, lab results to predict sepsis risk much earlier. They achieved an astonishing 22.9% reduction in sepsis mortality across their hospital network.
Wow, nearly 23% fewer deaths from sepsis.
Yes, which translates, based on their estimates, to saving approximately 700-800 lives. Their early detection algorithms, using real-time data, were incredibly effective at identifying patients at high risk, sometimes hours before clinicians might have suspected it based on traditional methods alone.
Life-saving AI. What were the keys to success there?
Several things. One was a decade-long investment in building a robust data infrastructure capable of collecting and integrating vast amounts of real-time patient data from across their hospitals. That 20% infrastructure piece. They also implemented a carefully phased rollout across more than 160 hospitals, allowing them to learn, adapt the system, and manage change in diverse clinical settings. Critical executive sponsorship, particularly from their chief medical officer, provided the necessary strategic push and helped ensure clinical buy-in. And very importantly, they adopted trust-building approaches with the clinicians. They carefully positioned the AI as a decision support tool, an early warning system to help doctors and nurses make better, faster decisions rather than an automatic order taker. This fostered adoption and confidence among the medical staff who ultimately had to act on the alerts.
Building trust with the users was key.
Absolutely essential in healthcare. Now, shifting to manufacturing, we see widespread success with predictive maintenance implementations. By using AI to analyze data from sensors on machinery, things like vibration, temperature, acoustic signals, organizations are demonstrating consistent 15–20% reductions in unplanned downtime.
Preventing machines from breaking down unexpectedly.
Exactly. This might sound like just a technical detail, but it translates directly into millions of dollars in savings. Savings from prevented equipment failures, which can be catastrophic, improved overall production efficiency because lines aren't stopping unexpectedly, and even extended asset life because maintenance is done proactively, not just reactively after damage has occurred.
Big bottom line impact for manufacturers.
Huge. The success factors here typically include strong cross-functional collaboration data scientists working hand in glove with factory floor engineers to ensure the AI solutions are practical and address real failure modes. Often a phased rollout, maybe starting with the most critical machines or lines to get quick wins and build momentum. Investment in scalable IoT data pipelines to actually collect all that sensor data reliably, and again, comprehensive change management, including introducing new KPIs to incentivize proactive maintenance behaviors among technicians, shifting that ingrained reactive, fix-it-when-it-breaks mindset.
Getting the maintenance teams on board.
Crucial. Finally, let's look at a generative AI example. Amazon's AI-powered ad generation. This is a fascinating case of using Gen AI to enhance customer experience and drive measurable business metrics. They're using it to transform basic product photos, the standard shot on a plain white background, into highly realistic lifestyle images.
Placing the product into a scene automatically.
Exactly. Showing the product in use in a relevant context, a couch in a cozy living room, hiking boots on a trail. By doing this at scale using generative AI, Amazon has achieved up to a 40% improvement in click-through rates on their advertisements.
40% more clicks just by changing the image with AI.
That's what they reported. Imagine how much more compelling and relatable a product looks when it's shown in a dynamic, aspirational scene compared to just floating in white space. This isn't just a creative flourish. It's a scalable, consumer-facing AI application that directly impacts marketing effectiveness and ultimately sales by making ads significantly more engaging and relevant to the customer.
That's a powerful Gen AI application.
It really is. And what's truly fascinating here, tying it all together, is how consistently these very different real-world examples link back to the core principles we've discussed throughout this deep dive. The need for clear strategic alignment with real business problems, investment in strong and scalable infrastructure, whether data pipelines or compute power, and careful systematic change management that focuses intently on both people and processes. They demonstrate that when you get these elements right, AI moves beyond just experiments and becomes a deeply integrated, transformative capability that delivers profound, measurable value.
Those case studies are incredibly inspiring, really showing the art of the possible. But we have to circle back to the other side of the coin. We can't ignore the sobering reality that AI projects do frequently fail. Our sources highlight that project abandonment rates reached a really staggering 42% in 2025.
Yeah, a significant jump.
A huge jump from 17% the year before.
Yeah.
And for large organizations, the failure rate for major AI projects can be as high as 80%. 80. These numbers are a stark reminder that simply trying to implement AI isn't enough. You absolutely need a clear strategy to systematically avoid the common pitfalls. The sources are very clear about what typically goes wrong and, crucially, how you can prevent it from happening to you.
That's a vital consideration because learning from failures others and potentially your own pilots is key to ultimate success. The sources provide a detailed breakdown of the common causes of failure, categorizing them so we can better understand how to prevent them. They generally fall into a few buckets.
Okay, what are the main failure categories?
Well, first, business alignment failures. This is where the AI solution, however technically clever, doesn't truly address a core business problem, or it's misaligned with the overall strategic goals, or the expected value just isn't clearly defined or tracked. Second, technical infrastructure gaps. Things like trying to build sophisticated AI on top of brittle legacy systems without proper integration, or lacking robust MLOps pipelines to actually manage and maintain models effectively once they're in production.
The tech foundation isn't strong enough.
Exactly. Third, significant organizational barriers. This could be insufficient cross-functional collaboration, IT, and the business not talking effectively. It could be a lack of sustained executive sponsorship or critical talent gaps in key areas like ML engineering or data governance, or just general resistance to change that isn't managed well.
The people and process part again.
Absolutely, but perhaps the most pervasive issue, the one cited again and again as contributing to a vast number of failures, is data quality. The sources explicitly state that a staggering 85% of AI projects are believed to fail due to poor data foundations.
85% because of bad data.
85. Imagine trying to build that magnificent mansion, but this time the foundation is just quicksand. It simply won't stand, no matter how brilliant the architect or skilled the builders. Your AI models are only ever as good as the data you feed them. Garbage in, garbage out is truer than ever with AI. So this raises that crucial question for you listening. Are you truly prepared on all these fronts, alignment, tech, organization, and data? Or are you potentially vulnerable to these common, predictable traps?
That 85% data figure is really stark. So knowing the pitfalls is one thing. How do you systematically avoid them? What are the strategies?
Thankfully, for each of these major pitfalls, the sources also offer clear, actionable avoidance strategies. Let's take business alignment failures. The key advice is to completely reverse the typical approach. Don't start with a cool technology solution looking for a problem to solve. Instead, start by defining quantifiable key performance indicators, KPIs, that are directly tied to core business performance metrics.
Start with the business outcome.
Precisely. Then, secure committed executive sponsors and ensure cross-functional stakeholder buy-in before any technology selection even begins. And critically, create compelling business narratives backed by clear ROI projections and value cases. This ensures that every single AI initiative is firmly rooted in genuine business value, solving a real important problem that impacts the bottom line or the customer experience in a meaningful way.
Okay, business case first, tech second. What about the tech gaps?
To avoid technical infrastructure gaps, the advice is clear. Invest in scalable AI infrastructure early. Don't try to bolt AI onto inadequate foundations. This includes establishing robust data governance and rigorous quality assurance processes right from the outset, not as an afterthought. Plan explicitly for continuous model monitoring and retraining because all models degrade over time as data patterns shift in the real world. And build flexible integration architecture that allows new AI systems to seamlessly connect with your existing enterprise systems, preventing data silos or jarring workflow breakdowns. This proactive, foundational approach prevents downstream bottlenecks and ensures long-term viability and operational efficiency.
Build the foundation properly from the start.
Exactly. Addressing organizational barriers requires that multifaceted approach we touched on earlier. Form dedicated cross-functional teams with clear ownership and accountability structures, deliberately breaking down the silos that often hinder AI adoption and collaboration between business, IT, and data science. Invest strategically and continuously in upskilling your existing employees and hiring new talent to fill critical skill gaps, ensuring your workforce is actually ready for the AI era. Implement structured change management programs like AD-CAR to proactively guide employees through the transition, addressing their fears, building excitement, and enabling adoption. And reinforce all these efforts by embedding governance frameworks that actively foster collaboration across departments, ensuring everyone is aligned and working towards a unified AI vision.
Tackling the org issues head on.
Yes. Now, that pervasive issue of data quality warrants its own detailed data management strategies to avoid that 85% failure rate. Here, AI-enabled data governance itself becomes crucial, using AI to help manage the data for AI.
Meta, okay.
This means implementing things like dynamic policy engines that can automatically adjust access permissions or security protocols in real time based on contextual factors, using context-aware governance rules that might automatically modify data retention policies or apply different encryption levels based on the detected sensitivity of the data. And critically, using API gateways with robust authentication frameworks and automated threat detection capabilities to ensure secure and controlled data flow between systems. This automation allows for governance at the massive scale needed for AI, while still maintaining essential human oversight for critical decisions and exceptions.
Automating the data governance itself?
To a large extent, yes. For data quality automation, leverage techniques like machine learning-based anomaly detection to automatically identify inconsistencies, outliers, or quality issues in your data streams, saving countless hours of manual review and checking. Use natural language processing for your unstructured data sources like text documents or customer feedback to extract valuable insights, standardize messy text, and improve its quality for analysis. Implement automated data profiling tools that can understand your data structure and content without needing extensive manual configuration. And deploy real-time monitoring systems with continuous validation against predefined quality criteria, providing instant alerting for any deviations or data drift.
Tools to keep the data clean automatically.
Exactly. The sources specifically mention several enterprise data quality tools that leverage AI for this. Anomalo, which uses unsupervised ML for anomaly detection. Atacama, delivering AI-powered automation for data quality efficiency gains. Informatica Claire, which is their AI engine for metadata discovery and automated lineage tracking. And Databuck, which offers continuous data quality monitoring with real-time error detection and even suggested corrections. Additionally, there are specific tools for sensitive data governance, like those from C3 AI and SAP, which use ML for highly accurate classification of sensitive data types, like PII or financial info, real-time tracking of sensitive data movement across multi-cloud and hybrid infrastructures, and providing centralized visibility with automated policy enforcement to ensure sensitive information is protected throughout its entire lifecycle.
Lots of tech help available for data management, then.
There really is. Finally, the sources make a very compelling argument, reframing ethical AI not just as a burden, but as a genuine competitive advantage.
Ethics as an advantage.
Yeah.
How?
Well, firstly, implementing ethical AI rigorously reduces legal risks, regulatory fines, and potential reputational damage, protecting your brand equity. That's the defensive play. But more importantly, it proactively builds customer trust, which is absolutely invaluable in an increasingly AI-driven world where people are wary of how their data is used. It can also enable faster innovation in the long run by building stakeholder confidence, both internal and external, reducing barriers to adoption for new AI applications. Ultimately, it positions responsible AI practices as an enabler of sustainable business growth, not a barrier to development. This means actively implementing automated risk management, perhaps through AI-powered monitoring tools specifically designed for bias detection or fairness auditing, using automated compliance checking against relevant regulations or internal policies, and setting up real-time alerting systems for things like model drift or anomalous behavior that could indicate an ethical issue. It's about building trust from the ground up, making ethics an integral, automated part of your AI strategy, and potentially turning it into a clear market advantage that truly sets you apart from less careful competitors.
Wow. What a journey we've been on today. We've truly taken a deep dive, haven't we? Covering so much critical ground. We started by understanding the core problem of AI adoption, that huge gap between hype and reality, and why so many projects hit those roadblocks. Then we explored the proven frameworks for success, the importance of robust governance models and responsible deployment, the absolute necessity of managing the crucial organizational change, and the human element.
the 70% piece.
Exactly. We dug into building the right technical stack, structuring effective teams and COEs. We learned from some truly incredible real-world success stories. And maybe most importantly, we identified those common pitfalls and the systematic strategies you need to avoid them, especially around data quality.
A lot to unpack.
Definitely. Bringing it all together, though, the core message seems crystal clear. The organizations that are successfully scaling AI, the reinventors, the pace setters, they don't just see AI as a collection of individual isolated projects. They treat it as a comprehensive business capability. They understand that sustainable competitive advantage comes from combining technical excellence with deep organizational readiness, ensuring that people, processes, technology, data, and ethics are all aligned and working in harmony, building a cohesive AI-powered future responsibly.
That really sums it up well. And if we connect this to the bigger picture one last time, the sources strongly highlight a critical window of opportunity that is wide open right now. The potential for competitive advantage through disciplined, strategic AI adoption remains very accessible. But it's accessible primarily for those organizations willing to truly commit.
Commit to what specifically?
Commit to these responsible, systematic scaling approaches we've discussed. Approaches that expertly balance the necessary velocity of innovation, because you can't stand still with ethical deployment, rigorous governance, and, crucially, a relentless focus on measurable business value creation. It's about building for the long term, with trust and tangible results embedded right at the core of every decision, every AI initiative. It's not easy, but the potential rewards are immense.
A call for disciplined, strategic action, then.
Precisely. So as you listening reflect on everything we've explored today, the frameworks, the risks, the success factors, the tech, the people, what's maybe one area you've heard about in this deep dive that you'll commit to exploring further, to deep diving into for your own organization's AI journey? Perhaps it's really focusing more on that 70% people and processes aspect. Maybe it's time to rigorously review and refine your AI governance frameworks. Or perhaps it's ensuring your data foundation is truly solid before you try to build more on top of it. The time to act on these insights, to move beyond just experimenting and towards strategic scaling, well, that time is definitely now.